We are live.
Papa
Happy
P!
Friday, gents.
Papa P's in the house. You already know what it's about.
Let's go. I had my volume down there for a second.
I gotta turn the volume down all day inside my head. Loud up in there.
Hey, we improved the intro music this week. Look at us go.
You know what? I was vibing to that. So
Yeah.
for all of our viewers, you're welcome.
You are welcome
For being copyright free. It was some pretty high quality tunes.
That's right. That's right. And I
Carlos,
think I still
great
might
shirt.
have to pay some euros for that one. I'm not sure. I have
Oh,
to
we
go
gotta
back
pay
and
euros.
read the
Euros.
description, but yeah.
Axe Capital, Carlos.
Yes.
Who's Axe
Yes,
Capital?
Bobby
Wait,
Axelrod
what?
from the show Billions.
You don't know Axe Cap? My man
Guys.
Axelrod?
I make products and I talk to developers most of my
Oh
day.
man, it is an epic. So I'm short like about a season on that thing.
So
But,
mine.
like, yeah, but it is, man. You got to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it?
It's Showtime. Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's like a scripted show. It's not like
Yeah. I forget the actor's name, but it's phenomenal. I mean, obviously, I condone reading books and educating yourself and becoming a better human. But on those downtime days, watching a little bit of what is it, Amazon Prime Showtime, on the Showtime channel.
So what? Wait, Axe Capital.
Oh, Billions.
Silicon Valley. Where are we going here?
Oh, Silicon Valley is comedy. This will get like your juices flowing and make a shit ton of money and have some power.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Like if you
Different
want
type of
to
show.
take over some shit and start bribing people, like that's the show.
Is it a reality show?
No, it's a TV show
Scripted.
about a wealthy hedge fund owner manager and
Okay.
how he acquired his wealth and his battle with the law and personal life and yada yada yada, and just all the trappings and dealings that come with, you know, as my man P Diddy once said, and Biggie, more money, more problems. You know,
Mm-hmm.
no money, more problems. Who was that? That was Biggie. That was
I think
Bad
so,
Boy
yeah.
Records. Yeah.
But yeah, very solid show, on point description. I'm a huge Silicon Valley fan, especially the first few seasons. I remember watching those 2 places ago that I lived, and some of the scenes in there were like the hardest I laughed, probably in like 2017-ish, 2018. Yeah, 2016, 2017, those were like some of the hardest I laughed from Silicon Valley. But Billions is definitely more big thinking. You know, if I was comparing it to a book, almost like a mix between Grant Cardone 10X and...
Oh, the show's called Billions. It's about Axe Capital.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's the
okay.
main
Alright.
character's company.
Billions. That would make sense.
Yeah, because he's a billionaire.
Got it. I have heard of that show.
So, phenomenal show. Anyway,
Mhm.
that's the stuff.
That's the
portion
stuff at the beginning of Let's Talk
today's
Real
show.
Estate. Fantastic. I think we were excited to chat a little bit about hiring, and I think Carlos, you had the batter swing up there to hit us off into the stratosphere of conversation.
I did I'll go with golf. I'll go with the tee box, hitting my 3-wood off the tee box just because I hit the driving range for the first time yesterday. Since being in Miami, playing with some real estate friends tomorrow for the first time, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Wait. I'm interrupting because I want to just give a round of applause. My man Carlos is down in Miami hanging out in Ferraris, posting on Instagram. I want to say that Miami life really does you well, my man. I saw you hanging out. He was
I
in the
was.
Ferrari with the ladies, just hanging out, posting. I was like, man, he's in Miami for like a couple weeks and he's already living the life.
I was hanging. The funniest thing was Rob, another real estate guy, going on a boat. I think I mentioned that maybe even last week, but going on a boat. Literally, I was getting my internet set up the next morning and went on a boat, which was a lot
Real
of fun.
Miami life right there.
Went out. I didn't no posting last night, but had a little bit of a late night with a similar crew: Nick Perry, Justin Colby, and James Hawk. Just some dudes right here. We had
Big
dinner
real estate
right here.
investors right there.
Big real estate investors. No posting last night. A little bit of a late night, but a lot of fun. Hanging out again tomorrow, I think, for a birthday party I think it's Justin's wife's birthday party. So it's good to hang out with those people. Yeah, Miami's a lot of fun. Ferrari was was awesome. I'm not much of a flashy guy, I would say, but I do love just like abundance and having a good time and chilling. And
Right.
everybody you hang out with not only has their own like unique genius, but you can kind of just like pick something up from them. And if it's like everybody has positives, and you can kind of just see how you can apply that to your own life. So most of my discussions and talking points and me thinking out loud is typically just like understanding how humans operate and being just genuinely fascinated by that. Like, John, how many times have I hit you with just random things like that, John? Like,
oh yeah, all the
either
time.
customer interactions or sales or other people in the space or our own family dynamics, anything like that is super interesting. But yeah, I appreciate that shout out. I forgot what we were saying before that. Oh, hiring.
Yeah,
So
hiring.
I'll hit off the tee box here. But yeah, I'm playing tomorrow. Super stoked. But it was a post about that Brandin had. Follow Brandin on Instagram, guys. He's the one that's actively doing real estate transactions all the time. Need to follow him on Instagram. Always cracks me up. But he was talking about a similar principle that a lot of people talk about. One of the hottest button items and discussions in real estate is around hiring. And we talk to people that are from beginners, have not done a transaction yet, that are just starting off to themselves, all the way to like a company we mentioned last week that used InvestorFuse that has like 24 people inside of their InvestorFuse account. So the subject of hiring is interesting because let's kind of hash this out. I'll throw it up to you guys a little bit here in a second, but what are the variables that go along with hiring? So how much, and we'll keep it for like acquisitions, like an acquisitions business, like how much traffic you have in your business, which is like how many leads that you have to work, how many sellers you're talking to, how much you can afford to pay. And I think those are two of the main ones, and that's kind of like the variable. And Brandin was talking about how he is always pretty much hiring, and I'll lob it up to him. But that's a great mindset to have, of like always being hiring and always looking for talent, and that's what a lot of the most successful companies, real estate or not, are doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put this away. I'm gonna get out the thinking. I'm gonna get out the thinking bat. This is what I like to have when I'm coming up with ideas. So I'll go back to what I was saying. I'm always hiring, and the reason why. And listen, I respect companies out there that outsource. I have outsourced, and everything I've done, I have 12 years of experience, and the majority of that was me doing it all by myself. And then when I started hiring, I started outsourcing, and I'm a control freak. So I know a lot of people outsource their cold callers. They outsource closers now. They outsource their marketing, because there's companies out, they outsource their lead generation. They outsource a lot. My thing is, what I realized was you can't outsource a $1 billion company. So, and I knew what I wanted my company to grow into was not just wholesaling, right? I wanted to be able to scale my company as I want, when I want. So I developed a system, and it's always be hiring. And it wasn't just because of that thought process, it was because of constantly getting fucked over. So like when you're hiring VAs or even in office people, and I know everyone preaches of culture and people won't leave you with culture, but that's not true. It is to an extent. People will leave you for money. People will leave you for a better job. People will leave you for lifestyle, different things. So especially when hiring virtually, I found that there was limited loyalty. I had more loyalty in the office than I did virtually. And it was a constant rat race of filling positions. So a lot of times what they would do is they would come in on a Monday, get a job, pay. They're applying for other jobs still, trying to get a higher paying job. And as soon as they get that, they interview, right, on your time, right, or on a break. And then next thing you know, Monday, they're gone. And you won't get a call. They won't tell you. You can't do an exit interview. They just ghost you. They collect on the day their paycheck comes. They will literally wait for their paycheck, and then they will leave. So that had happened to me, man, so many times. And like, it took me a while. Like, I like to think I'm a good guy. And I'm like, man, like I just got to pay more. I got to do this. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I gave. I mean, shit, there was a point where I was buying computers for people overseas, like trying to find a way, and they would just steal my fucking computer. Like, I never got that back. Never got my headsets back. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't pass it on. So I was like, you know what, man? So I developed a system. I figured out that I needed not only cold callers and closers and dispo. Not only did I needed a financial, I needed a bookkeeper, I needed admins, I needed marketing, I needed all these positions. I need sales managers and shift supervisors and quality assurance. I need all these things that you don't think of because you outsource. When you outsource, you can't pivot. So, and I want to be able to pivot. I want to be able to cold call or market or do anything to anybody or any industry that I want at any time. So anyway, I started myself. I started hiring myself. I created like a little thing inside Podio for hiring. Somebody wiser than me helped build that out. And then, yeah, and then went on to do Facebook ads and different things to generate these leads until I had a system, process that system out. And then I hired an HR manager to handle. So she basically, and we have a whole HR process where she handles everything up to day 1, day 2 of onboarding. So like she'll handle the whole hiring, interviewing, everything, bring it on day 1, onboard you, log you into all your systems, have you watch videos, learn about the company, all of those things, interview or not interview, but meet your team leader, your manager, get a little thumbs up, rah, rah. And we're also testing. Do you show up on time? Do you have good internet? Did you lie about all the stuff you said you had? And then by day 2, finishing up your onboarding, final, and by day 3, you're shifted off to your team. And we could do that with any position. Like we've hired marketing managers. I just hired sales manager. I just hired a QA. Sometimes she's overloaded. And I have to jump in. So that's the process, man. And so to answer your question, you always have to be hiring because you guys follow me. I will literally lose 3 people in a week. And so if my call center goes down from 3 people, right, I'm losing, think about how many dials they're doing. We work 6-hour shifts, so they're doing 230 dials per day or 230 contacts per day, more dials, but 230 contacts. So that means I'm losing almost 800, 700 contacts in a day. I mean, that's a lot of leads. And if we're at 7, we're around 60 to 70 contacts per lead. And you do the math, right? I just lost a bunch of leads. So we have to always be filling those positions on the call side. And the benefit of what this does, I'm sorry to keep talking, but the education portion of the show. So one of the benefits is a career path. Too many people doing this business they don't give their people a career path. I know this because I interview too many people. I ask questions when we hire people. You do this job, show up, maybe I'll pay you, maybe I won't. And that's a real thing. People don't pay. And then that's it. That's all you get. And so you wonder why they leave. So instead we created a process. So every pay structure we have for stepping stones. So you start at the bottom as a cold caller, and from there, and that gets the least pay. Everything steps up in salary, better hours, more hours full time. Instead of a 6-hour shift, you'll work a full 8-hour shift because you're not getting burnt out as much, right? You'll get better bonuses. And so you're developing. So you could go from cold caller all the way to closer if you're good. If you're happy at being cold caller, you just fucking stay there. We had a cold caller who turned out he had a degree in database management. And I mean, and I loved him. I personally onboarded him. It was almost 8 months, a year ago when I trained him. And he stuck with us for 6-7 months, asking to do follow-up stuff. And it's man, he doesn't really have the skill, but I love his attitude. And then one day he saw an ad. We post ads internally to our team. So when we're hiring, our HR sends out an internal memo for a new position if anybody knows somebody or wants to apply themselves, giving them the opportunity for growth. And so he applied and he explained his background. And I'm holy. I'm this guy's over here making blank X dollars an hour and he's got this talent. And now he runs all of our data. And all those things you see me post about data, please do not think I am smart enough to make that. My system has enabled me to hire and find these people. And I built a system that gives them the okay to say, hey, here's what I do. Can I do this for you? Or this is what I love. This is his passion. He fucking loves it. He loves it. And I love talking to him about it. So we create that career path for them. And so that way, when I lose people, right, I can either promote people, right, or our HR is hiring the people in. And I don't have, so I haven't, and John knows my story, man. Like I've had so many down months, like because whether it was in office, I literally had people die on me, just randomly, just fucking die. And like, it was wild. And like, you would just immediately, my sales would go down, my leads would go down. Now I don't have those months anymore. I am now consistent because my employee growth is consistent. We have tried the outsourcing. Something happens to that company, you lose your entire lead generation. And then what do you do? So that's the thing, man, is I just don't think you can outsource $1 billion company. And that's my goal and that's why I'm in Tim Bratz's mastermind and Tim Bratz and the scaling. And I just feel like this system, and it's not finalized yet. Like it's a work in progress. Like we have our processes and everything, but there's still stuff we're tweaking to make it more automated. So.
All right, there's a lot to break down there. I'll let you stood on your box. So let's do this. I just have one real quick question. You said you hired a QA person?
Yeah.
What for?
So it's funny. I didn't actually put out an ad for that. I put out an ad for a sales manager. But
hold on real quick. For everybody listening, when I say QA person, that's quality assurance. We use that in the development process. It's a person that checks every part of the application to make sure that when we built something new, we didn't break something else. So I'd love to hear how it fits into real estate for you.
No, this is phenomenal because two things. So quality assurance in our company does two things. And I need another one, but anyway. You have call quality assurance and system quality assurance. So especially when you're doing calls, a couple things. Is the lead actually, so we have the thing, is the lead actually motivated? Because you give so we give bonuses based on leads pushed over. So you could clog up our InvestorFuse system, our CRM that we use, if you're just pushing over shit. So instead, we're actually switching it this week. I had to get with you anyway on the new thing with your team to redo a API. But anyway, all the leads stop. They review all the leads, make sure they're quality. Then they'll push them into our CRM and that they're not bad leads. Right now, we have a bad good lead rating system, but they're actually going to be the stopgap now to pushing over only the valid leads into our CRM. And then they'll get bonuses based on what bad leads they find. And then their job is also to be listening to the calls, right? And doing like rah-rah or refresher training, right? Refresher training with the callers. But then on the system side, QA is to make sure that when your caller's dispo or call result or lead status, whatever term you guys use in your business, that it's actually done correctly. So like in InvestorFuse, right, we'll have different lead statuses where it's L not interested or opportunity offer too low instead of follow back up with sellers. So you could listen to that call and you could go, well, wait, why did they dead this lead as offer too low when the guy didn't just say no, he just didn't like that price? Why didn't this person negotiate? So then they can revive that, resurface that lead up, and then do training with them, bring it up to their manager and say, hey, listen, they misstatus this lead, and you should do some training on how to negotiate, yada, yada, yada. So it's not just call quality, but it's also system quality.
That's really cool. So it's kind of like when you get to the level that you're at, it's, usually, I would say if somebody's starting out, you hire your first caller. My first advice to them is listen to their calls and give feedback. So you're at the point now where you're creating a specific position just to do that so that the manager doesn't have to focus on doing that.
My manager, she's been begging me for QA. And like, I didn't even put an ad out for it. My ad was out for sales manager. And then she was phenomenal. She works for another wholesaler, but they cut her down. And they outsourced everything. So she was QAing an outsourced company, and they were only giving her like 2-3 hours a week. And she supports her family. And like, I could go on. And that's the shitty thing about our industry. They got fucking families, man. And no one gives a shit. So like when you come to a company like me and I have everything processed out, and you could see we have this entire hiring process and managers, and you got people that have been here for 2 years, they get excited because they're like, oh, they're actually going to pay me. They're actually going to give me 40 hours a week and not fire me in 2 weeks. and I will fire you in 2 weeks if you don't do a good job, but if
sure.
I do my job correctly.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay, that was my first one. So, and then you said you always be hiring, and I want to kind of dig into the budget and the system kind of level of this because I think it's really intriguing and how to lay that out for different wholesalers. But I really like the ladder that you have, right? So if you're hiring somebody for acquisitions, like you want somebody to be a closer, you're going to start them at cold calling regardless of what you're doing, right? It's always going to be, they start at the base position and they might go up super quick if they're fast and great and so on and so forth. They could excel quickly. But I love that idea that everybody goes through the same path because you can really weed out.
So that's true and not true. Like I will hire a closer if I can hire a closer. But I have found, so it comes down meaning like
Papa P, you are breaking up.
Carlos had mentioned
we need some QA on the internet connection.
Come on, Lakeland, you can do this.
Back?
I think you're back.
Am I back?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Totally forgot what I was talking about. But I'll hire.
You said that you would hire a closer if you could, and then you started to break up.
Carlos was talking about cost, right? So to train somebody, if you have zero experience in real estate and closing sales, we're talking high ticket sales, not low ticket sales. Low ticket sales is easier to do because you can use pressure tactics to close them, and it's a one call close typically type of thing. But on this, I need to train you on real estate. I need to train you on scripts. I need to train you on valuing. I need to train you on my system. I need a lot of things to train you on. So if I start you though as an opener, you already get the real estate knowledge. You understand our company. You know what our rules are. You know most of our script because the cold caller script isn't too different from our closer script. It's just got a different, same intro, same qualifying property questions as we talk like statuses or pipeline, and then it switches off. So it's easier to train you. I now just have to train you on how to make an offer. And the best part is if that in between there and there, you stopped in a follow-up specialist role, odds are you probably already learned our system, right? You already learned the closer script. So it just makes it easier, and I'm actually getting value as they go through their career path versus hiring. But if I find somebody that already has that training, 100%, I will hire them.
Yeah.
And then I'll put them in and see how it works out.
Love that. That's awesome. And then, so like budget and systems wise, HR wise, so are you really always hiring, or do you get
Literally
to a point?
Always.
You never take the ads down. People are always submitting. Your HR manager is always talking to people.
So like right now, I think we had 3 people come on this week. 2 people actually made it to the second day. 1 person claimed it was raining. I mean, when people say, I'm like, it's always fucking raining in the Philippines, okay? I don't really understand. But, and we don't just hire in the Philippines. We hire all across South America and all the way over in Asia, whatever country you would call that continent. And 3 people, and we got 4 coming on Monday.
Wow.
So that's going to boost up our call center. We'll probably be hitting over the 15 to 20 mark in our people. But I promise you, follow me on Instagram. I will tell you we will be firing people next week because our Jean, like my manager, we call her the Terminator. She just starts firing people. When I fire people, I fire in 3s. If you piss me off, I usually just start firing everybody. But I know she already wants to fire somebody, but I had to have a talk with her. And I said, listen, you can't fire people until we have the proper replacement for them because you're messing up our lead count. So there's a balancing act. And I was like, when these people onboard, if they're good and they stick around, one of them can replace the person you're firing. But right now, like I get it. And her numbers are horrible. So we use those data sheets you show us to help determine these things of how they're performing.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I mean, so I just speak to like our experience at Investor Fuse as a tech company. That is not how we function. And this is eye-opening to me. And I'm like, hey, I wonder if this could really apply. I will say that, we are currently in the process of hiring a new support person. And the way that we kind of work is somebody comes in and they're going to be tech support to our customers. They start in quality assurance. So it's like you're going to go through and do the 400 steps that it takes to make sure that our product works the right way. To build them, give them that base knowledge of, oh, okay, I understand where everything is in the application. I understand that this is how this part should function. So when somebody asks me a question about it, is it working and is it not? It helps. But I mean, we really focus on a demand function of, okay, now we feel the stress. Now we got to go hire somebody. I would say that it always feels late, right? From the point of there is pain, we need a new person, to the point of that person is now solving that pain is a long time period, because you go through the whole hiring process, then the training process, and then you finally get to the point where they can start actually taking away the pain that you felt to the initial part. So it's intriguing to constantly be in some degree of a cycle so that you can catch them up.
So what if you were scaling? Okay, so think of it this way. So I'm nowhere near. So like when I hired my HR person, that was the question. Well, like, am I gonna have a job after I hire like your 10 people that you're looking for? And it was very hard to get her to believe that I wasn't lying, that yes, you're always going to be hiring, because it's not just the bottom that you hire. As you expand, there's management and middle management that you have to implement. So like, for example, once my cold caller team hits 20 people, and that's all in office in our virtual call center, I now need shift supervisors, right? I need another QA. So like, there's other things that fill out in there. And so, yeah, I don't see where I wouldn't be. And I love it because that also forces me to expand and do different things. So, I mean, and Carlos had also asked about budget. I have a master sheet. We've hired through our system are phenomenal. I love her to death. She only works part-time. But she's phenomenal at Excel sheets, and she's created this like wizard compensation sheet where like, and because we offer like multi-tiered bonuses, and she's accounted for all the tiered bonuses for every position within our wholesaling part of the company, right? So that way I can make sure we're hiring. It's a profitable thing. I'm not just picking. Carlos made a comment about the cost of this stuff and like making sure I'm budgeting properly. So I had to make sure that these prices that I was picking and these numbers, I mean, I had a gut feeling, but I needed to see it that I was going to turn a profit and that I wasn't just paying people for the sake of vanity of having this big company. Because that's a problem too. So
I was going to say a couple quick kind of like interesting thoughts from the 80/20 show, the other Investor Fuse podcast, which I need to get Brandon on that sooner rather than later, was a guy, Jason Lewis, who is a big player, one of the biggest wholesaler guys in Utah. He has a couple interesting points that I want to bring up for the interview that got released yesterday. One, in general, he says he preaches to everybody he can talk to on stage, masterminds, people in his community. You should be hiring 3 to 4 months ahead of when you anticipate the need for it.
That's a smart way to put it.
It's paralleling what Papa P is preaching. Papa Preach is saying here.
Papa P!
That you should be doing that 3 to 4 months. And interesting hires that he has, or like kind of how he has the staff. He has 3 people on his team that he calls relationship managers. Full-time job is to build rapport a little bit with sellers, but mainly with buyers. Like strictly just focusing on that, like getting super dialed in, agents, wholesalers, investors, hedge funds, everybody. And he said that everybody focuses on the marketing, the front end stuff. Oh, if I just get more leads, I'll get more deals. More deals, we're going to have more net profit, everything like that. But he kind of flipped and he's like, man, nobody really focuses besides the companies like Keegley and a couple others that focus on Dispo. He's like, a lot of people don't focus on that. If they do 150 deals, they do, and that's how you are able to sell for a higher end price is through relationship quality. Is his
we should talk
hypothesis.
about that in another show. That's a phenomenal topic in and of itself. The relationship of when you dispo, relationship versus no relationship. How does that work? I think that's a phenomenal topic, Carlos. I think he's right, man. You're right, but John, you see what Carlos is saying though. I don't have that problem yet. I will. I'm sure. I don't know what his scale is. It sounds like he's bigger than me because he has a problem that I've not yet encountered, but there's always going to be a new position. As you scale, you're going to have these needs. And I realized, like, well, I went through the corporate world, man. Like, I went through a whole HR process. My boss didn't hire me. HR hired me. Mm-hmm. My boss didn't onboard me. HR onboarded me. Then after the first, I think I did like 1 day of training. And then I went to my boss and I did my real, and that was $1 billion multinational conglomerate that did that. And that's kind of where I stole the idea from. Because I was like, well, if they can do it, I will do it.
Good artist copy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really intriguing. And I would call myself a conservative business owner from the point of view of like, man, my bottom line is what's really important to me, and I want to make decisions that, encourage the bottom line. So it's like straddling that line between, yes, the growth is happening and we need people for it, versus it hasn't quite happened yet. I think it might. It's not in my bank account, but do I solve for that problem that I think is going to occur or not?
It's another risk of business.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brittany, my wife, she's my partner, and like she's always reminding me, like, hey, Brandon, this is nice that because I'm like a builder. I love to build shit. And she's like, Brandon, this is nice, but you need to refocus on sales. Like, you can't hire, you're now, and we're pumping, like our cold call center is pumping better than it ever has, mostly because our manager is phenomenal. But like, now it's like, okay, sales. And I was like, shit, man, I need a better sales manager. Like, our current sales manager sucks ass. You want to know who our current sales manager is?
It's you.
And I need to step out of that role. And somebody wise, and Carlos, maybe you know the answer to this. I don't know who said it, but somebody said the hardest position to hire for is the one that you're the best at.
Ooh.
And
yeah.
I am a I'm not trying to talk. I'm a phenomenal fucking salesman. And it has been the hardest thing to hire for. Because
it's always the thing that like nobody could ever live up to you. And a similar saying that I can't even remember, Dan Martell, our coach, says something like, you can never expect anybody you hire to ever do 100% of what you do. It's like you have to be content with 60 to 80% of how you function in that role. That's what somebody else is going to do, but it frees you up to go to other places and do other things. I have the same thing about, like, man, I feel the stress of, like, in 2022, towards the end of it, or 2023, I'm going to have to hire a product manager for Investor Fuse. And like that has been what I've done for 6 years. And I'm going to have to hand that off to somebody. And will they ever live up to that thought process of, man, if I was doing that role,
start holding them back. Like, I'm holding right now, I'm doing this, and they're messaging me, and I'm holding them back from doing what they need to do so they can make money to support their family. And that's why I needed to hire that. And the other thing is, a wise man once said, people don't do what you expect, they only do what you inspect. And I'm not inspecting their work as much as I used to. So as we scale, there's more and more problems. In 2022, I told you, and I think I said it it's all about me scaling, going bigger, and delegating everything that I have created out. I spent a year building it. Now I not got to delegate it. So it's just different.
Yeah, for sure.
All the time.
Hire all the time. Now, my last kind of question that I had for this kind of topic here was, do you think that let's call it theory, practice, whatever, system that you've built of always be hiring for your cold calling center and then into your sales changes when the roles that you're hiring for have a different, like a higher dollar per hour?
So we just hired a phenomenal marketing manager. She gets paid more, and she has a lot of room for growth because we have a lot of plans for our company of how many people go under her. And the same process happened. Now, it needs to get better. Like, I wasn't 100% satisfied with like how like that interview process went, because I was still involved in a lot of it. So like, it needs to get more streamlined. But we went through 3 before we found a phenomenal one. Alyssa, she's got so much to learn, because again, she's trying to learn marketing for a very large organization for our size, and it's not easy. And we literally had one person just quit. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the pressure of like learning all this stuff. Another person just like the second day they quit. sent us it was nice. They sent us like a little, what do you call it? Quitting email, or what do you call it? Exit email. And I was like, damn, didn't even last a day. But since we had that ad and we had the HR, she was able to put it out and we went through those processes. But yes, it could be better. But my goal is to make the hiring and HR process better. So that way I could even hire an in-office person as well with the same system.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I have today set up, but it's something that I know I need to create. But again, with anybody listening to this, it's all baby steps. It's one problem encounters a solution, requires a solution, and I just step them up from there. So yeah, I mean, I will need better. I have a little capability of that, but I'm going to need a shit ton better to hire somebody at like $60K a year or $75K a year. Like I don't have that ability right now.
Yeah.
I would be involved in way too much of that process.
Yeah. Oh man, that's really interesting. I mean, we talk a lot. I didn't realize how extensive your hiring operation was.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's good,
but it works.
Yeah, but it works, right? I mean, you're seeing the results.
If I spend a couple grand on hiring every month, and I lose without it 30 leads a month, 50 leads a month, and one of those leads is a deal, and I make 10, 15K per deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I was literally getting shut down. Like there was months I was making zero money, like because I would lose people and then I'm fixing it. So anyway, but it's a good topic, man. I think it goes deeper than what we can just kind of cover here. But follow me on Instagram and you will see more of the day-to-day.
Follow us on Instagram.
How do you pronounce your name on Instagram, Brandon? It's been a mystery to me. I want to make sure I'm saying it.
Mr. Realovative. It's like real estate and innovative put together. I'm thinking about switching it just to Papa P. Honestly, I just feel like I need to be Papa P across all boards.
Okay. I've been saying it Realovative, but I wasn't sure if that was the correct pronunciation or not.
Yeah.
I'm a big pronounce people's names correctly because that's the most, well, not because of this, but
it's the most beautiful word to somebody's ears.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's that. It's a showing of like respect. If I was writing a book, which is maybe one book I'll write around human communication and interaction, is establishing as quick as possible genuine respect for the other people is like very entry point.
Yeah.
Right. You should reach out to Mike over there on Instagram, Dreamstarter. He handles the book writing. You should reach out to him.
I'm not familiar with him.
I have no idea what you're talking about either.
I'll connect you guys with him. He's phenomenal. Mark Evans, he helped him write, I think, his last book, Austin Rutherford. Like he has this entire automated, like his entire company is based around helping people like us, business people, write books. It's his passion. I mean, I had a long talk with him up at a mastermind. I was thoroughly impressed with the way he thinks and the way he works and operates. So you want to write a book, you reach out to him. He can help you get that book off the ground. Written.
That'd be an awesome connect. But I notice I do that subconsciously too. Like I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing someone's name. Speaking of sales, in our own internal CRM for managing sales and InvestorFuse B2B sales, I notice whenever it's a name that's not a standard name, I put the pronunciation and then also to make sure their gender as well, just so I can pronounce it out. If it happens to be a name like Ashley or something, like we've had a male Ashley sign up recently. That type of stuff.
John, write this down. We need to have a topic about sales and names because
sales and names.
I do the opposite. Right. I'm not going to get into it because we have other topics, but I don't let my people use names on the phone because if you mess it up, it's the most insulting thing you could do to somebody.
Interesting.
Well, that's why I put an emphasis on it because I have to use their name.
I always thought it was funny because I'm the complete opposite with my team, and what you're doing is phenomenal and excellent. I'm so afraid that my sales team can't be that excellent that I don't let them. So I created a whole script around not saying names.
That's interesting.
Somebody called me yesterday and they're like, "Is Brandin Patterson? Is he that?" I'm like, "What do you want, dude? Did you want to sell your house?" I'm like, "Fuck you, get up."
There's not an A in your name.
So we're talking about all this hiring and working hard.
Yes.
And so, John, you wanted to talk about that post.
I did. So
who's got that post handy from Alex Hormozy?
Alex Hormozy. Yeah, let me set the stage here. So Monday of this week, I left on a short little vacation in the Ocala National Forest. Stayed in a cabin on a private spring. It was fantastic. But as I was there, this post started circulating from Alex Hormozy, who, if you don't follow him, he's fantastic to follow. He's on his way to be a billionaire. Let's put it that way. I don't think he's there yet, but on his way for sure. And he he does gym launches. Anyways, he's a phenomenal dude to follow. Him and his wife, they're a team together.
Yeah.
All right, his post. Do you have it, Carlos?
Let me pull it up really quick. I'm trying
Okay.
to find the right one.
It's about self-care.
Well, sure.
Well, sure.
The post says, "Stop this self-care nonsense. Just do shit you like. Cut people who suck, and you won't have to recover from your life. Instead, your life itself, rather than your escape from it, becomes your self-care." And then another interesting part was, this is part 2 of the post, is reminder: weekends are not even 100 years old. Our ancestors survived just fine, so will you. And they didn't even know the term self-care existed. But we should be grateful that society got so soft. It makes the game easy for anyone who has any sack at all. And I read that with a Brandin voice when I saw it originally.
Yeah. I mean, I think the world is filled with a bunch of pussies. Simple as that. I agree and I disagree. So I said earlier, it's all about perception. So I believe he's talking about, he's not saying not to take care of yourself. Okay. He's not saying don't spend time with your kids. He's not saying don't go meditate. He's not saying don't take nootropics, or he's not saying don't read books and have better care and spend quality time. He's not saying that. He's saying stop being a fucking pussy and complaining about how you need the weekend off because you work so fucking hard. And oh my God, I'm going to go drink my weekend away, or I'm going to lay on the couch and watch Netflix because it's the only way I could take care of myself. That's not what he's saying. He's saying if it's become such a need that you have to do that maybe something about your life is wrong and you should fix it, and that itself should become your self-care, then you won't need to take a break from your life. And sometimes to fix all that, you do need a break, right? Like, you're going to have to stop moving in motion, go back, repair whatever is broken, learn a new process on how to live, and then move forward, and your life should be better as a result. But yeah, I mean, I have fired people. I've known too many people who live that style life, and it doesn't work for somebody who's high level, because I don't look forward to my weekends. I love every day. If I want to go home, I go home right now. I like to leave early lately because I like to spend time with my son. We hit the gym. He doesn't work out. He just plays with toys in the gym. But we hit the gym together. And to me, that's my self-care. But do I sit here and go, man, self-care right now? Like, oh, my life is so hard. Man. Like, I'm just fucking living my life, dude. I've catered my life to be the way I want with my family and stuff, and I'm still working on it. Yeah. It doesn't, I don't know. Thoughts?
I agree. I feel like he summarized Gary Vaynerchuk's billions of posts in one post. Because that's I feel like a big message for Gary Vaynerchuk is
I was thinking the same thing.
Head down on Monday, I'm going into the work week, I'm so sad.
No wonder you need self-fucking-care.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I would say that I think there's a flip side to that too, though. When you're people like we are, where we are high level enough, and do enjoy what we do, look forward to it every day, that there could be some level of guilt that you might have. Or maybe not even guilt, just what's the perception of a vacation. But I mean, that's all just theoretical. Who cares what other people think about you, which is another line from Gary Vaynerchuk, or whatever people say. But I love, I can't tell you how inspiring it was for me to be 3 days away and just have room in my brain to just mull on some things while I was just spending time with my family and out, with nature, to just be oh yeah, transactions management, unlocking some things that my brain just needed to unlock about things that I'm working on for this quarter. So I think it's super important like have those moments of peace to let my subconscious mull on things as well. And yeah,
I'd like
it's a bunch of rambling.
Yeah. I mean, it's a crock of shit, though, because, like, only rich people and successful people get to really relax and dial it back and work on their life. I don't know one, and maybe I just don't know the right millionaires and billionaires, but I don't know one person who said, I became a billionaire because I self-cared from the day I started my company all the way through. No, they all fucking struggled. They all put their head down, busted their fucking ass, had 0 weekends, took 0 vacation until a point where they were able to create the life they had always dreamt of and what they worked so hard for. So like there's certain people you follow and they're like, hey man, if you're working 7 days a week, you need to stop and do self-care. And it's like, bro, you could say that because you're worth $10 million fucking dollars, but 2 years ago you were posting different. Well, I learned now that I was wrong back then. Well, you only fucking learned that because you had enough money to spend 20 grand to go pay somebody to tell you that shit. But if you were where we're at, you wouldn't have that fucking ability to do that, and you'd still be head down at your desk grinding out bandit signs and shit. So I think it's a crock of shit at the same point, but I also agree.
I like that. I agree with that.
Like it's I don't know anybody who's ever started a company that said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got pictures of Jeff Bezos in a shitty little apartment, bald. Mm-hmm. Just like a little fucking you driving a shitty fucking car. He looks like he was struggling until recently. Oh, yeah. He was a fucking Terminator machine.
Uh-huh. That's funny that you say that. Like, you know, it took you $20,000 and you had the ability to pay $20,000 to learn these types of things. Like, I've really come around to understanding that like, it's a journey that you got to go through to get to the other side. And yeah, there's like certain points where
it's the joy of the journey that is so fun. And it took me years to learn that. I love the struggle. I love it. I don't know what I'm going to do when I don't have it. My wife says I make things up just to create drama because I get bored at home. Like I get bored because there's no drama at home. So I just make shit up because I'm like, shit, where's all the action?
Where's the struggle?
Yeah, where's the action, bro? I don't know, man. Carlos, what are your thoughts on the self-care thing, man? You're very big into taking care of yourself. You're very big into the, mindset and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking before John said the Gary Vee thing, but it's just like in general, I would say I'm all about self-care and like you should take care of your mental, your mental awareness or mental health, however you want to say it. But I think the best way to think about it in the context of the conversation that we're having is like if you're living for the weekends, like if that's what, and obviously we have exciting, like I'm excited to play golf tomorrow. It happens to be with real estate.
But you would be excited to play golf if it was on a fucking Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, or any like, I've even been thinking about like the next week I have. But like, if you're living for the weekends, specifically just like partying or whatever your vice is to escape from your day to day, then like you really need to do some reflecting and figure out what's going on. But I was also thinking like, for me personally, and I talk a lot about it. Like, for me, I've had like investor fuse life with my personal life so like integrated, and obviously I have like Zoom meetings throughout the day, but like there is not much of a line between my personal life and like investor fuse life.
It is your life.
Yeah, like it is my life. So it's like, but I'm lucky and grateful that a lot of what I would call like civilian friends, like people that aren't in real estate or entrepreneurship, like, and this is a whole other subject, but like a lot, it's kind of sad that the American cultural norm is like people don't enjoy their jobs, but I think we're trending away from that. Where first corporations are able to work remotely, people like Papa P, John as well, but like really care about having a good company culture. But I mean that's a huge talking point of like just being able to enjoy what you do. But just think about now, like even like my next week, because I actually have to jump. I have a meeting, but then getting lunch with Retta, who is an 80-20 member Investor Fuse guy that you've done some Investor Fuse training with. He's upgraded to premium. So I'm getting lunch with him after this. And then Don Fowler, getting dinner with Don Fowler Monday after work, who's the CEO of Real Flow. Going to the Mark Evans thing Tuesday, inviting some Investor Fuse people to meet up there. So yeah, I don't know. It's
fun,
different
though,
from
right?
my perspective. Yeah, it's different from my perspective because I have it so integrated, which is a good thing. But yeah, if you're living to get away from like work or whatever, then man, do some self-reflecting, and you should do that before even thinking about hiring or any real estate strategy or anything like that.
And like, I'm not saying that self-care is bad. I'm just saying people use it as an excuse.
Definitely.
And I think he was referring to the people that use it as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
As to, oh man, like I can't do this because I'm not this. I can't do this because I'm working too hard over here, so I don't even have the ability to do this on the weekend, you know? And it's like, come on, man, like stop using that you need to. I hate this line. Do you. Just do you, man. Like I gotta just do me, man. Like that's the most selfish thing I fucking like. Just all right, dude. Like obviously you got no responsibilities, but a lot of it too, I blame society. You know, the whole weekends wasn't invented until I think it was like 1907 or 1908. I mean, it was, and Henry Ford started creating that with his assembly line in the late 1920s and stuff. And like, yeah, I get it. But back then, you also didn't have the things that you have now. And like now, we're all fighting to get the next computer. The next, I see, you know, what do you got there? You got a Yeti microphone, you got the little, all this stuff that you have is expensive, Carlos. Like I got shit that's expensive, my whole setup here, and guess what? You got to work to make that, and it's part of the grind, man. But if you don't want this shit, listen, I know some people who don't need any of this shit. My cousin doesn't need any of this shit, and he is happier than ever. He's just living life up in the woods, just fucking living it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need that stuff, but if you do, self-care becomes more evident because you're sacrificing your time, right, for money to get the things that you need, only to be upset when that acquisition of that material item doesn't fulfill or satiate that need that you had, and then you're only more depressed because you went to work for something that you thought would fulfill you, but when you bought it, you realized the fulfillment wasn't there. So yeah, now you're pissed off and depressed about yourself, and you're sad, and you need more self-care. So what do? You hate your life a little more and you bitch about it. And I think that's what he's talking about too, just being a fucking pussy. Like, stop bitching and complaining. You told yourself you wanted to do all that. You told yourself you wanted this job. You made the choice. The company didn't make the choice. You made that choice. You could quit at any time. You made the choice to have sex and have a kid. You made the choice to do these things. You made the choice to spend your salary on a weekend outing. You made whatever your choices are that people use as an excuse. I think it's a crock of shit. You don't need all this shit.
Yeah.
Me personally, I want a lot of this shit, but I also know that it's not what makes me happy.
Yep.
It doesn't make me happy. It's fun to have, but it doesn't make me happy.
100% content with who you currently are. Everything from here on out is bonus, right? Like, everybody seems to think that I will be happy when X. I will be happy when I get X.
It's a curse of the American people.
Yeah.
We always want more, whatever it is. More sales, more watches, more shoes, whatever your thing is. We all have it.
Yep.
And then you wonder what you need. You need self-care from your own self is what you need.
Yeah. I like that.
I don't know. I'm very outspoken about these things because I think it's a crock of shit. I know quite a few people who would rather spend their weekends self-caring, and self-care to them means hanging out with their friends and drinking, than it does actually mean meditating and reading a book and going to the woods. Even if they're in the woods, they're getting shit-faced. And it's like, wow, you got to escape from yourself that way.
Yeah. Good topic. Well, hey, we only have a couple more minutes left. I think we were going to give a little update on nootropics.
Yeah.
Nootropics? Am I pronouncing that wrong?
I think nootropic.
Nootropic?
Yeah.
What does the word nootropic mean? Let's go for that first.
Carlos.
I actually don't have a... Let me pull up the actual definition, like if we're Joe Rogan having the... Like if we have Joe Rogan, the what's the guy's name he says? I'm not thinking of it.
Yeah, we need... You know what? You want me to put in my hiring process that we need to hire
somebody,
virtual assistant?
So we can have somebody share screen and like look stuff up for us when we're online.
Yeah, could have looked up when the weekend actually started, what year.
Yeah.
We've got to get our facts right.
Yeah, we could have had that. That would have
been... Is it
technically... Real estate fact checker.
It is a substance that enhances cognition and memory and facilitates learning.
There we go.
I, last week, presented this. Mud water.
Mud water.
I thought
Yes.
this was the bee's knees, only to find out that they don't use the fruiting body of the mushroom, so you're missing out on most of what the mushroom's nutrients. And I'm not talking psychedelic mushrooms, that'd be cool, but I'm talking about just like enhancing, like functional mushrooms, right? Utility enhancing mushrooms. So then I got this, and the reason why I got it is essentially it's more of a. It has a lot of things, not just mushrooms, but it has MCT oil and stuff in it that replaces your coffee intake and helps now where coffee doesn't necessarily help with your digestion, immunity, and inflammation and all that. These functional mushrooms in it has a little bit of coffee in it, MCT oil, all these things, L-theanine, like they help with your body and your mind. So this replaces my coffee. But then, Carlos, my man. Superfood Iced Tea. I have yet to try this. I will be trying this afternoon. This is the afternoon burst, and this has a lot of the same stuff, functional mushrooms, but it also has a lot of ginseng, different things inside of it that can help with your gut and like ginger and stuff like that. So it's just supposed to help give you an extra boost again in the afternoon. So I'm trying out this mushroom thing.
Is that like 100% mushroom coffee?
Mushrooms. What?
Oh, sorry. Do you add it to your coffee, or is it like it is coffee with mushrooms?
So this one I added to my coffee because it didn't really have anything else in it. Now this one has a very small amount of Arabic, whatever, if I'm saying that right, coffee in it. So
yeah.
And then, but it has all the mushrooms itself provide you the energy that you need. This one has tea in it, so it has like oolong tea, white tea, ginseng, ginger, bunch of the same type of mushrooms for mental cognition and gut health and everything. And then it has different things like lemon balm and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I've been trying this, and I was trying the Magic Mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying that. So like these items are just to replace my coffee intake because you drink. How many? Do you guys drink coffee? Like how much coffee?
I sure do.
Typically
1 cup a day.
Yeah, I would say average 1.5. Like some days I'll have 2 cups.
It's a 16 ounce, so I mean, yeah, it's a little tall.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I would say I would have about 20 ounces probably then, because my cups, like this is probably like a 12-ounce mug, and I probably do like almost 2 of them, so maybe 1.5, whatever. So that's replacing that, and then this gives me that mental boost. But then I was like, wait a second, Carlos, and you're gonna appreciate this.
The packaging on stuff these days is just
I
makes
tell
it
you
even
what,
more
dude.
enticing.
And
How
listen,
clean is that packaging? It's beautiful.
I know, right? Wait. Let me open this up. And I want to preface this before anyone calls me a dumbass. I also understand that I don't mix all new stuff. Otherwise, it basically is too many controls in a testing situation. So, yeah, I'm not like literally doing all. I know some asshole's going to be like, oh, this fucking idiot. He's over here making 3 things all at once. He has no idea what works. Dial it back. All right, listen, ready? Boom.
Wow.
Basically, you take a test. They give you of their package that they think you need. So I got clarity.
Like a blood test?
No, like a quiz based on like how I'm distracted all the time, and I like to I got ADD. So clarity, energy, creativity, motivation. They did not provide the logic one in here, and I'll take that as a compliment that they already think I'm pretty logical. So what you do is Monday I start, they give you 6 of them. You take 1 a day. So that means I'd be getting rid of like this concept. I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So I would do that all weekend to reset. And then you have like a little journal. So then basically each week you write how you did, like headaches, did you feel clear brain fog? Like, could you remember your words properly? Things like that. Did you have energy? And then you give it back to them. And then they start to formulate your actual daily nootropic stack.
Oh, so 1 week you're trying just like the clarity.
Yeah.
Or what was the first one?
So like each
That's
one
awesome.
of these.
I unfortunately have to hop. I would love to hear more about this post on story, and we'll catch you guys next week. I know I don't want to.
All right, because next week I'll be testing them out, and we can talk about how they do.
Love it. See you guys. Fun combo. Boom.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Enjoy your golf. So yeah.
Golf week.
So anyway, I'm excited about this next week. So I'll be doing clarity.
It's gonna take you 4 weeks before you can give them back the results, and then they make you one that you'll take every day.
Yeah, so they sent it to me on a Tuesday, so I couldn't do it. So I need Monday through Saturday or like my regular work days because I work a little Saturday morning working on the database and stuff, testing it out. So
Yeah.
boom. Database
Very
REI Up Center coming to a market near you.
coming to a market near you very soon.
But yeah, man. So I will update everybody next week. We could talk more.
Yeah.
And we can kind of
That
go
sounds
from
good.
there.
You can be our guinea pig for everybody that watches Let's Talk Real Estate, and then you can just let us know what works in the end.
Yeah.
Going back to the mushroom coffee, so that like you're not like you don't have other beans and you're just like putting a tablespoon into your coffee. That is your coffee.
This is my coffee.
So it's pre-ground coffee.
Yeah, it's basically like a ground. It's not coffee. Again, it's got cordyceps, lion's mane, reishi, shit take. I don't know.
Shiitake.
Tail, king trumpet. You know, it has like a mushroom blend and Arabic coffee all mixed together inside of here.
Very fun. All of you that are confused about what mushrooms are, there's a great documentary. It's called Fantastic Fungi. Highly recommend it. It's and it doesn't. It's not like they talk a little bit about psychedelic mushrooms, but there's just lots of other health benefits with mushrooms.
You know what? We can get on a Joe Rogan rant whenever I can get some of those in the mail. I'll let you know.
I'd be intrigued. There was the main guy from Fantastic Fungi. He's out of like Washington. He had a stutter for his whole life, and he had some psychedelic mushrooms, and then there was a thunderstorm. He went up a tree during the thunderstorm, took a whole bag of psychedelic mushrooms, and like tripped out through the thunderstorm and never stuttered a day again in his life.
Listen, man, they have done some studies on these things and what psychedelics can do. Again, they're only starting to realize. That's why it's been a thing. Like I was researching this functional mushrooms. Like there's a real use case for some of this stuff. And like, I mean, we talked about self-care a little bit ago. Like again, I don't call it fucking self-care. I'm just trying to figure shit out. But like, I mean, I had a little health problem with my stomach. Like I'll just call myself fat. You know what I mean? I already feel like I'm getting skinny. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Awesome.
In and out. But different things like that and it helps with stress and it helps with inflammation. And that's a bad thing for your body to have. So, you know, I'll be trying this as soon as we get off. I'm gonna make I got some cold water. I need an ice maker in here, so I'm gonna have to buy an ice maker to put some ice in my tea, and I'll see how this goes. If you don't hear from me again, it's because I bought it on Instagram. Don't buy it. If you see me next Friday, then you know I made it and I'm okay and I haven't OD'd on shrooms.
I like it. Oh man, that'll be good. Excited to hear about that then.
Boom! All right. Listen, we got more topics for next week. Go buy Investor Fuse. If you need the best CRM, go buy Investor Fuse. If you need a database, just wait. REI Op Center is coming out soon to a market near you. And if you're looking for the best real estate and stuff talk show, you've already found it.
You found it. You're here. It's great. Every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Every Friday, 12 p.m. Papa P and John and Carlos.
Awesome. Have a great weekend, everybody. And
lock and load.
Continuation of life, right? Weekends.
Take it easy, man.
See ya.